be aware that even before you have reached your ultimate professional destination, if you always strive for excellence, you can and should have a substantial impact on the world in which you live. Unfortunately, civility is hard to codify or legislate, but you know it when you see it. It's possible to disagree without being disagreeable. Liberty finds no refuge in a jurisprudence of doubt. In order to cultivate a set of leaders with legitimacy in the eyes of the citizenry, it is necessary that the path to leadership be visibly open to talented and qualified individuals of every race and ethnicity. I don't know that there are any short cuts to doing a good job. Young women today often have very little appreciation for the real battles that took place to get women where they are today in this country. I don't know how much history young women today know about those battles. The power I exert on the court depends on the power of my arguments, not my gender. Commitment to the rule of law provides a basic assurance that people can know what to expect, whether what they do is popular or unpopular at the time. Society as a whole benefits immeasurably from a climate in which all persons, regardless of race or gender, may have the opportunity to earn respect, responsibility, advancement, and remuneration based on ability. In my work, a good library is essential. It enables me to learn the background and previous discussions of the various issues I am called upon to decide. It provides the stability and continuity for the rule of law. The proper role of the judiciary is one of interpreting and applying the law, not making it. I think the important thing about my appointment is not that I will decide cases as a woman, but that I am a woman who will get to decide cases. As a citizen, you need to know how to be a part of it, how to express yourself, and not just by voting. If I stumbled badly in doing the job, I think it would have made life more difficult for women, and that was a great concern of mine and still is. I think I learned to appreciate and treasure each day, because you don't know how many you're going to be given. We pay a price when we deprive children of the exposure to the values, principles, and education they need to make them good citizens. The framers of the Constitution were so clear in the Federalist Papers and elsewhere that they felt an independent judiciary was critical to the success of the nation. The courts of this country should not be the places where resolution of disputes begins. They should be the places where the disputes end after alternative methods of resolving disputes have been considered and tried. It matters enormously to a successful democratic society like ours that we have three branches of government, each with some independence and some control over the other two. That's set out in the Constitution. I think we may be seeing the beginnings of a resurgence of civic-mindedness in this country. Hopefully the younger generations, which came out in record numbers during the last presidential election, will pass their enthusiasm on to their children. If parents instill a sense of civic-mindedness, and there is no better way to do that than by example, their children will probably follow. Each of us brings to our job, whatever it is, our lifetime of experience and our values. You have citizens who don't understand how government works, and they're kind of soured on it. All they do is criticize. They have no idea that they can make things happen. The freedom to criticize judges and other public officials is necessary to a vibrant democracy. I sort of thought the framers of the Constitution were talking about the rights of individuals, not corporate entities. The destiny of the woman must be shaped to a large extent on her own conception of her spiritual imperative and her place in society. I don't know how a judge can concentrate on being fair and impartial when he or she is faced with possible jail time for making a decision that others deem incorrect. I'm a judge. It seemed to me that it was critical to try to take action to stem the criticism and help people understand that in the constitutional framework, it's terribly important not to have a system of retaliation against decisions people don't like. Most high courts in other nations do not have discretion, such as we enjoy in selecting the cases that the High Court reviews. Our court is virtually alone in the amount of discretion it has. The government now has license to transfer property from those with fewer resources to those with more. The founders cannot have intended this perverse result, despite the encouraging and wonderful gains and the changes for women which have occurred in my lifetime. There is still room to advance and to promote correction of the remaining deficiencies and imbalances. It's hard to have little children and a job and career at the same time. There is no time left for you as a woman. Occasionally we have to interpret an international treaty, one, perhaps, affecting airlines and liability for injury to passengers or damage to goods. Then, of course, we have to look to the precedents of other member nations in resolving issues. It is difficult to discern a serious threat to religious liberty from a room of silent, thoughtful school children. If a state refused to let religious groups use facilities open to others, then it would demonstrate not neutrality but hostility toward religion. My concern was whether I could do the job of a justice well enough to convince the nation that my appointment was the right move. If statistics are any indication, the system may well be allowing some innocent defendants to be executed. A moment of silence is not inherently religious. If you take a position under the Constitution that is against the majority view, you have to explain it well enough that maybe you can persuade some of that majority to agree with you. It is true that as you have children, there are a good many months when you don't want to be working full-time. I agree that that's an issue. It was better for me when I was joined at the court by a second woman. When I was there alone, there was too much media focus on the one woman, and the minute we got another woman, that changed. For students, understanding the separate and unique functions of each branch of government can help them understand how different kinds of government officials can help solve different kinds of problems. Historically, courts in this country have been insulated. We do not look beyond our borders for precedents. My sense is that jurists from other nations around the world understand that our court occupies a very special place in the American system, and that the court is rather well regarded in comparison, perhaps to their own. Do the best you can in every task, no matter how unimportant it may seem at the time. No one learns more about a problem than the person at the bottom. Sandradayo'connor, March 26, 1930, December 1, 2023, in El Paso, Texas, the daughter of Harry Alfred Day, a rancher, and Ada Mae Wilkie. She grew up on a 198,000-acre family cattle ranch near Duncan, Arizona, and in El Paso, where she attended school. Her home was 9 miles from the nearest paved road. Sandra was an American attorney, politician, and jurist who served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1981 to 2006. Sandra was the first woman to serve as a U.S. Supreme Court Justice. A moderate conservative, Sandra was known for her precisely researched opinions. Nominated by President Ronald Reagan, she was considered a swing vote for the Rehnquist Court and the first for months of the Roberts Court. Before Sandra's tenure on the court, she was an Arizona state judge and, earlier, an elected legislator in Arizona, serving as the first female majority leader of a state senate as the Republican leader in the Arizona Senate. Upon her nomination to the court, Sandra was confirmed unanimously by the United States Senate, usually sided with the court's conservative bloc but demonstrated an ability to side with the court's liberal members. She often wrote concurring opinions that sought to limit the reach of the majority holding. Her majority opinions in landmark cases include Grutter v. Bollinger and Hamdi v. Rumsfeld. In 2000, she wrote in part the per curiam majority opinion in Bush v. Gore, and in 1992 was one of 3 co-authors of the lead opinion in Planned Parenthood v. Casey that preserved legal access to abortion in the United States. On July 1, 2005, Sandra announced her retirement, effective upon the confirmation of a successor. At the time of her death, Sandra was the last living member of the Burger Court. Samuel Alito was nominated to take her seat in October 2005 and join the court on January 31, 2006. During her term on the court, Sandra was regarded as among the most powerful women in the world. After retiring, She succeeded Henry Kissinger as the Chancellor of the College of William and Mary. In 2009, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama.